I just went through why. Oh my god. Nothing has changed. Now, why in the hell? Oh man, I don't have my AirPods in. That could have been why, but never mind. I'm upset. I'm upset because I just went through this freaking whole segment for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And anyway, watching Palantir here. I'm watching a few things here. We're going to go over it. Here's what I was saying, and it was just, hopefully, I can say it again. Thank you for being here. If you can, hit the like button. I know you can. It doesn't take much, it goes a long way. Like, subscribe. I'm going to do my best today to tell you why, if I take a trade today, why I'm doing it. What are my entries? What am I looking at? Is it the stock? Is it the option? I'll give you guys the week, the strike price, the whys. Okay. Um, if you make money with us, okay, don't be afraid to give back. Okay. Um, Riding the coattails of other people and stuff like that, after a while, it just, I believe in karma. So I do right by you, do right by me. Okay. You guys can get back to the stream if you guys make any money with us. If you have any questions, tickers, anything like that, put it in the chat. I would like to know, do you guys think the markets closed green or red today? The SPY and the NASDAQ or the Dow? The overall markets. Do you guys think we close green? Do we close red? What are your thoughts? We only got 4 minutes now. Again, I apologize. I guess because I didn't have my AirPods in, it just did not pick up the mic. So it is what it is. All right, so we have a few things moving today. What I was talking about was this 50-day moving average on Palantir. You have a bit of a gap up here and prior highs. You guys can see we're putting in a nice little bull flag here, right? Just hanging out. Just that 50-day is still becoming resistance. You got above it, failed. Got above it, failed. So we tested it yesterday. What's it going to be? Right now, we were at 154.45, right? 154.45. And your 50-day moving average is going to open up somewhere right around here, right? It's going to open up somewhere right around here. Keep eyes on that, okay? You have some resistance up there at 156. All right, 156. I'm honestly probably going to put that as the resistance zone. I got to hurry up. Maybe I'll just keep it. What I'll do is maybe I'll just draw a box. See, it extends higher and higher from 156 up to 158. So it's really a wide range. Like your support level here, yeah, that's a pretty good level there at 150 to 149.50, right? About a 50-cent range. You call it a dollar, 149, 150. That's a support level. But if you look up here, you got resistance from yesterday at 156. Then the day before that, it was 156.79. The day before that, right? You're working yourself up 157.75, 158.50, like so. All right, Palantir. Let's talk about Adobe. I cannot believe I just went through that and my mic was not on. Adobe. Um, you know, down there, it's down at the previous lows. We'll see if there's a trade to be had here. If it holds these previous lows, which so far it has, um, just my target honestly would is got to be that 9 EMA on like a 4-hour chart. That would be the first, which lines up with these previous lows here. Okay, right there at 255, 254, call it. But you're getting tails in there. All right, so Adobe, it's probably not going to be a trade for me. It's more than likely not going to be a trade for me unless something really happens here and it has some volume that picks it up. Let's see here. Okay, so we got that. We got that. Nvidia. There's some news with Nvidia. We've been watching that this week as well. We've been scoping this out. Okay, that was a look above and fail. We've talked about this the Tuesday. All right, or no, Wednesday. We got above and we got that pullback. We took the long on that, didn't we? Yeah, we scalped the long there on Nvidia. So now you're working your way back up into those moving averages, back up into that resistance zone. Okay. But the first thing we can do is look at the SMH. So I have an alert right now. You guys can see here an alert at 184.28. See, we have 30 seconds, guys. All right. Good luck. I'll continue to keep going over everything. But Alta, that was the other one I wanted to go over, and Coinbase. So a lot of people are watching Coinbase this morning. Keep that on watch. Alta kind of pulled back their guidance for the future. Um, so they pulled in guidance. We'll keep Alta on watch. Again, thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button. Let's have a good day today. We'll make the most of what we can of the day. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. I kind of thought today would be an opportunistic day, and we'll find out. We will be soon finding that out. IWM. I want to look at that. So, I want to move that level there on Coinbase. Come on, man. Again, if you're new, don't be shy. Let us know how you're doing today. Where are you viewing us from? All that fun stuff. Let's go check out oil. I almost got short oil yesterday afternoon, and I was a little taken back because the last time that I did that earlier in the week, it didn't really work out so well. Which it was a small position, and we came in with a gap up. So I'm like, yeah, let me not do that because I was seeing a few things, and I'm like, you can't do anything. I was thinking about going long both, right? Long the SPY, long oil, right? So no matter what, if we got a nice drop in oil, then we would more than likely have a decent drop, or we would have that bounce in the SPY, which would have made it, which would have made up for the downside on the oil. And these USO contracts are dated out a little bit further. Okay, so Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So Friday's low. Thursday, Wednesday. Friday's low is down here on the QQQ. It's really like a range here. The actual low is down here on the Qs which would line up right with yesterday's low. Use yesterday's low as last Friday's low, right? That would be your support level that you want to look to see if we can start to hold. The Qs look really good. I think the SPY is kind of messy, and it was kind of reversed, unless I'm backwards here. But originally, the Qs had a better setup than the SPY, and now the SPY is setting up with like a cleaner technical level, if that makes any sense. All right. So starting off here with the bell, we have some nice volume that came in off the bell. Not too bad, right? Not too bad, which is a good sign. This is a good sign here. All right, S&P's last week's low, right? 670, 669, 80s. All right, we have that pivot high from yesterday. We're starting to pull in from that. Let me go over here. Let me do this. I got to do two things really quickly, and I will get myself correct. All right. Let's look for a pullback here. Nope, it's going to hold. Let's go. We could get a runner here. We could sure get a run here. Oh man, I don't like. Look how tight of a trend this is. I don't like that. That's the only thing I don't like about this is that you may not, you may have to like if you're going to trade options, I would think twice about it daily if this continues. Okay, if this continues, because you're not going to. It's going to be hard to make money if you're not getting any momentum. Right? You bounce, it takes it back. It bounces, makes a new high, but it takes it back. Bounces, makes a new high, takes it back. right? You're just going to get that theta is really going to start to catch up to you if you don't make any ground. Here we go. So on the 3 minute here, we're pulling in. Watch this 9 EMA. You guys will probably hear my cat in the background. She likes to be talkative in the morning. All right, let's see here. Oh my gosh. No, 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 no. Oh man, I thought I lost it. Thought I lost you guys for a second there. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. Let's turn on the news. Let me just do give me just 1 second, you guys, and I'm gonna turn on some news and stuff for us.
Around 08, 09, but they're still on the brink. And we can tell that from some of the earnings numbers that we're seeing. We saw it just in the past few months when it came to restaurant expenditure. We know that even if the lipstick index, if Ulta's numbers are anything to go by, if even cosmetics now are taking a hit, these lower dollar items, clearly the consumer is feeling some strain.
What do you want to buy now, Ethan? I mean, you know.
Make sure I have to fix this. I don't know why the quality would be bad if it is. You guys should be able to have it at least, but in 1080. All right, so here we go. So the Qs are pulling in. You have that anchored VWAP coming in there. You have prior day's low. Last week, last week's low, we are somewhat rejecting here. I want to see if we can try to fill this gap, man. That would be awesome. Let's go check in. Let me pull up a different. Let me do this real quick. I'm talking a bit much here. Come on. 3 minute. Come on now. Let's go. Let's do this. Stay focused. If you guys see anything, have news, don't be afraid to post it in the chat. No, 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 no. Come on, give us a little bit further. Give us a little bit further, man. It's not going to. Shit. I think that was it. I think that was your entry right there. I just want to be able to have multiple things up here. So watch the IWM here. You're breaking above that previous Friday's low. All right, that alert went off. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but that alert did go off. There goes the SPY, same thing. Now you have futures. The ES is bouncing right into this 200-day moving average. Come on, man. Let's go. Hurry the fuck up. Excuse my language. Where's the NQ? No, this morning. Yeah, see, this morning you're bouncing right into that 200-day moving average. I was hoping for a nice pull in back into that zone. I don't have many programs open, so I don't know why this is acting up. It likes to do that when I check out futures. All right, so you've got your half hour getting ready to go positive here. Things could really start to be to get above that Friday's low, though, guys. I'd keep an eye on that. I would keep an eye on that on the ES if you get above that Friday low. I don't see why we couldn't. It's Friday. I guess we are going to have a low volume day, which is crazy. There's that pullback. There's the pullback. All right, so Coinbase, you pulled right into that 50-day moving average, okay? This is going to be important to see, does this stick? All right, 5 minutes. Let's see here. You know, that could be a really nice move to 210 if this sticks. If you can put your foot in the ground and these markets try to bounce, keep an eye on Bitcoin. Keep your eyes on Bitcoin. And look at that. Palantir failed again up there. Dude. Sometimes this shit pisses me off. So what do we have here? Let's go ahead. Let's check out everything that is trending. Oh, you know what? You know why I know why my stuff's going slow now, because they probably put all this Microsoft junk back on my computer. I had to do had to, um, I had to restart it yesterday, and now after doing that, IWM. I know for a fact I moved time frames. So the IWM still hanging out at prior day's high. Last week's Friday's low. Last Friday's low. Um, let's see what happens here. See if it can continue to hang on. Okay. A quick look at the markets. You have Micron doing really well this morning. A lot of names are doing well. J&J, you know, 3M, Honeywell, Nvidia's green. All right, a lot of names in the Russell 2000. Okay, a lot of healthcare names. Just really everything but energy and materials. Okay, information technology, Cipher. Okay, that's up fairly nicely on the day. We'll check that out real quick. And that is a bounce right into that 20-day moving average, right up there with prior lows, prior highs. I'm going to stay on track here and stick with some of the names that have a reason to move. This looks exactly like Adobe, doesn't it? Look. I clicked it, I backspace ADBE. Dude, I'm gonna get frustrated. This thing's pissing me off. Okay, so Adobe started to go now. So when I move my mouse, look how long it takes it left, right. Look how long it's taking it to catch up. So forgive me. XYZ. Let's settle in here. Okay, so Nvidia is positive here. Let's go. Let me refresh this. VX, Rivian. Man, the Qs are taking off again, man. Damn. That's brutal. All right, let's see if we can get a test here on the SPY on a pullback. I'm going to stick with that. Even though it may be over, it's overdone right now, but I'm going to stick with that. We still have data at 10 o'clock, guys, so don't forget that. You have data that's going to come out in 15 minutes. I don't expect anybody to be here, but this is starting off nice. Okay, I hope the data point backs up this I hope the data point backs up this chart, because the chart looks really good for a bounce back today. It does. I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it. I'd be lying. I want to see if we can fill this gap. Holy heck. Is it really going to step up there like that? No way. It's going to run away and not pull in. I'm still looking for a pullback. Oh man. Back in the dip back in below 671 if we can. If we can. All right. It's kind of quiet. Let's get some news here.
Is about to surrender on Wednesday. He said that at that meeting on Wednesday. Elsewhere, we've got other reports. The Indian government official said the oil tanker Jag Prakash moved out from the east of the Strait of Hormuz. And additionally, other reports noted the FT said European nations, including France and Italy, opened talks with Iran in the hope of securing the Strait of Hormuz passage. Elsewhere, we've got a ton of US data this morning, which was generally concerning, with GDP growth for Q4 revised down, notably the US core PCE year-over-year metric that was also accelerated for the third month in a row, now back at 2024 levels. Meanwhile, US real consumer spending for the quarter also fell
IWM.
shy of expectations. In terms of the FX space, dollar is broadly firmer despite US yields taking a breather after a strong rally. The Canadian dollar weighed on by poor jobs report. Meanwhile, sterling weighed by an underwhelming January GDP reading. In precious metals, price action mixed amid the stronger dollar, with spot gold currently trading up by around $32 per ounce, while silver is currently flat.
So it says here, magnitude of 6.5 earthquake strikes near central Chile. Chile.
And coming up at the top of the hour, we are looking out for two reports in the US. So first off, the JOLT for January. The headline expected at 6.7 million, up from the prior 6.52 million. Just a quick reminder on that 6.52 million we saw in December. That was the lowest reading since September 2020. In terms of the previous quits rate, that was 2%. The vacancy rate was 3.9%. We're also looking out for the University of Michigan report. In terms of expectations, so consumer sentiment seen at 55, down from 56.6. Expectations seen at 54.7 from 56.6. And current conditions also seen down from 56.6 to 55.2. In terms of inflation expectations, 1 year seen at 3.9%, up from 3.4%. 5 years seen at 3.4%, up from 3.3%. This is the preliminary readings for March. Just some energy commentary via a JPM analyst. Says by the end of next week, they expect crude supply cuts to near 12 million barrels, making the deficit highly visible across physical markets.
Being so slow. This is so ridiculous. This is awful. I can understand completely why nobody would tune in and actually stay. Yeah, we are way overdone. We're not way overdone, but technically that doesn't matter. We're overbought. Not really. But
Just an update for steel. So Chinese steelmakers may take delivery of portside stocks, rather BHP's Jimble bar fines until next week, according to sources reports. The China's partial easing of the ban on that Jimble bar grade only applies to domestic steelmakers, not traders.
what I'm going to do is, because we have 10 minutes here, I'm going to go look at the, where do I want to be? What contracts? Qs are on a roll here. Okay, so the IWM recovered again above this Friday's low here on the 15-minute chart. So keep that on your radar.
Just an update concerning Dubai. Dubai residents are getting a potential missile threat alert.
These contracts have to come down. They've got to come down. Got to be able to buy them right. You know, I will. I'm going to throw up the dailies here, just for a few reasons, but they're just very expensive, and I need you to know that. So be careful. Be careful. I mean,
And an
you're
update
paying
concerning the Pentagon is
$2
sending more warships to escort
for
tankers through Strait of Hormuz.
you're paying $2 for a $2 move practically. So that means you need to, you know,
And so
you
the
need to
US
go
Central
3 or
Command requests more
$4
destroyers and
to make any real
marine
money.
vessels for Hormuz, is
And
according to reports. So ways
you needed to move at least, you know, past that to make any real money. Um, Also within a reasonable amount of time, okay? And you have a lot of resistance and a lot of things in your way right up there in front of 175. So understand what it is that you're paying for. I'm gonna be patient. I am. I'm not gonna turn, I'm not gonna force a trade here, but that's what I'm looking at. All right, that'll be the 172s. Or I'm sorry, 672 on the SPY. So 672. We have very low volume right now this morning off the opening bell. I was hoping it was going to be a better day today, but it doesn't seem that way. I was hoping there was going to be more opportunity, and you have a lot of names green, so let's listen up here for this data that's about to come out. Come on, just a little bit further. I don't want to get under VWAP, but you know, it is what it is. So the Qs have a little ways to pull in here. IWM once again just cannot get above that zone and stay there. We have 2 minutes, 1 minute and 1 minute and 15 seconds.
and we are now approaching the top of the hour. The jolt support is expected at 6.67 million. And we're also looking out for the UAM report, where the headline sentiment figure expected at 55.
I guess, see here, USO. I want to put up I'm going to put up the USO on that chart so I can see what the options are that I was looking at yesterday. But so here we go. We're down to $1.50 now with the SPY down here pulling in the Friday's high. I think that's a shame that can't hold. Here we go. 15 seconds, guys. 15 seconds till this data set comes out.
10 seconds.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bink. Okay. Michigan consumer sentiment 55.5.
6.946
Still
million on
over
Jolt, 6.946 above the expected 6.7 million. In terms of the UM report, so sentiment 55.5 above the expected 55. Current conditions 57.8. In terms of expectations 54.1. And then inflation expectations
So there was a lot
3.4%
more
unchanged.
openings.
5-year 3.2%, down from
You're
3.3%.
saying there's more. There were more openings.
And quits rate in that Jolts report, that's unchanged at 2%. Vacancy rate, that's 4.2%, up from 3.9%.
Now the 2 years still trying to bounce. Come on, don't be a turd. Don't be a turd.
And so in terms of an immediate reaction, very muted reaction here across markets to that data. Just a quick recap. So Jolts 6.946 million above the expected 6.7 million and comes from the prior 6.542 million. In terms of the quits rate, so that was unchanged at 2%. Vacancy rate up to 4.2% from 3.9%. Elsewhere in the UM report, so sentiment 55.5, so not big as a drop as expected, above the expected 55. Expectations, bigger drop than expected to 54.1, now beneath 54.7, whilst current conditions 57.8. So they actually unexpectedly rose in that preliminary reading from the 56.6 prior. In terms of inflation expectations, so the short term ticked down to, or rather stayed at 3.4% beneath the expected 3.9%. And then 5-year 3.2%, slightly down from the prior 3.3% and beneath the expected 3.4%.
$146. So here we go. Man, I don't want to get fooled into this again. 672 calls for today. All right, for today. $140. Okay, so we're still positive here. We're still positive. Come on, 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 come on. 137. I'm gonna hop in these here. 133, 130, 128. I just got in, guys. I just got in. Let's see here. 126. I got filled at 126. 126. Damn it! Don't just shred right through it. Qs have a little more ways to go down. I should have taken profit off of that. Right up there. I knew it. It's not gonna hold here. Come on, baby. Let's hold this. Come on. Yeah, come on. Just give me a bounce. What did I get? 126. I think we could fill the gap here onto the downside, and I don't want to be stuck in this in the daily. And I want to hold here, and I want to see us extend higher. Come on, let's go. Come on. Yeah, look, you still have a gap there.
Just some remarks from the Eurogroup chair. It says European economy can absorb shocks. Europe must act swiftly if energy prices remain high.
Damn it. All right, I'm gonna get some off here at 142 if I can get it. If I can get that high, if they can give me that. Come on, fuck. not going to get it, I don't think. Shit. Wait, they flipped 40 there. Yeah, I got filled. I think I got filled. 143, 145. If you guys got that fill there, nice job, guys. Nice job. Nice job. That was. Look at the volume coming in on the 1 minute. All right. I had more than I wanted. I had 5 contracts there, and look at the top left screen. And the reason I just took it all off at once, okay? The reason I took it all off at once is you heard that the ding that went off was the NVIDIA. That was an alert from NVIDIA. Right. Look at the 30-minute. You still have a ways to come down here unless, I was looking at this and I'm like, man, that's telling me, right, that Friday can break. I'm looking at that trade line right here. Okay. I'm looking at that trade line and I'm like, man, on a half-hour target, that's a nice gap. That hourly trade line's probably right down here as well. Your 4 hours probably a 667. Let's have a look. This is why it's so important to go look at everything, guys. Look, see what I mean? See the gap here for your trade line, and you're below VWAP on the hourly chart. Okay, if you hold, you hold, right? Then then that's a really good sign if you do not break this. But I had too many contracts for a daily with, this gap on these longer time frames, and then look at the 1 minute. Look at the volume on the buy side; it's just falling off. A lot more volume on the sell side that's starting to come in there. But again, if you hold, that whole, bearish scenario of this level failing just gets wiped out because that's a very strong sign that bulls are still in control and or buyers are just stepping away. I'm sorry, sellers are stepping away here because if they come in with volume and I've just named off 3-4 different reasons why this level could break and it doesn't, that in and of itself tells you guys, let's go for this gap fill. So do we go down a little bit further here and try to fill this gap? I'm looking at the top right here, right? Do you start to just pull back in the prior day's low, kind of fill that, shake everybody out, then try to bounce going into the afternoon? I don't know, right? But I was up, 12. I got filled at what, 126? Something like that. Let's see. And normally I wanted to let that run. Yeah. Yeah, 125, 126. I got filled at 126 right at that low. And look, the contracts are down to 110. See what I mean? I had a feeling that this was going to break, and I almost brought my limit order down from $1.42 down to like $1.38 because I thought I was going to have trouble. Right? Look at your 15-minute time frame down here too. So all signs were pointing for this to break. It's still on like on a relatively longer term time frame. You're breaking it on lower volume. The Qs have a little more room to go down. You have your anchor VWAP catching up here. Again, relatively low volume today on the overall markets here with the SPY and the Qs. So let's listen up here. Let's go take a look at oil. See, if I want to point this up there for you guys, but I'm just gonna play it. Did I mute it? Or no, he just hasn't been talking. Okay, so that's that. Let's get back on the grind here. So he just hasn't said anything. So the Eurogroup chair, Periakis, says European economy has the capacity and resilience needed to absorb shocks. Okay, cool. Wonderful. All right. Trying to see what's going on here. Let's go move over to the bigger chart. We're still positive, so I'm not going to fight it, right? I'm not going to try to fight. If there's not an opportunity, there's not an opportunity. Okay? I'm not going to fight this market. So, NVIDIA. Okay, I had an alert here. Oh, it broke, but it's starting to hold. So, if you look here on NVIDIA, and I apologize that my computer is going slow. All right. I don't know what's going on. I had the update yesterday. That's right. That's what it was. So I had an update, so I'm sure all this Microsoft stuff's back on my computer, and like there's just a bunch of stuff back on it, and it's having having trouble. So previous highs, previous highs, previous highs. You have a bit of support down there at 182.50. Okay, so we look for this previous high, see if this breaks. You have some support here at like 182, 182.50. See, I don't really like this. I don't think there's enough meat on the bones on this to take it, because as soon as you break that level, right, you have a lot of selling pressure here. If you can hold on to this, maybe you run a test back down to 178 in that 200-day moving average. That would have to be next week. Let's go look and see what stocks are trending higher. Yesterday, we called out Walmart at 122. Nice job if you took that. And we called out short Meta twice this week. At least just putting the trade on, not trying to make money, but getting comfortable with, you know, this building yourself a playbook. And the playbook was every time you got up to this 100-day moving average and this 660 level, it sold off. 1, 2, 3, 4. It got above it and failed. You went back up there Tuesday and Thursday, which again, yesterday we called it out. I said, hey, we're back up there at 660. Take the short, you know, stop loss, I would be above it, keep it tight. Keep it tight. Okay. And you would know now, hey, this stuff makes you comfortable trading. Makes you comfortable because you
And a
see,
bit more
okay,
from
every
this
time I
Fox
do this, it
interview with
works.
US
And
President
the one
Trump.
or two
Fox
times it
Radio
doesn't,
carrying some
that's okay.
remarks.
I don't
Trump on
care
Iranian
because
sleeper
I know
cells
once it
says
works,
there
the
could be
upside's
more than
great.
1,700.
It's important to do that. I don't think people understand how important it is to do that. Yeah, those calls now are 90 cents, 92 cents, 98. What I just looked at, so I'll take it. So nothing crazy, quick $100 on the day. Just shy of. Let's see here. Where am I at? Where am I at? Let's see. Market Watch. What's up, buddy? Good morning, man. It's going good. It's going good so far.
A bit more
I'm hoping.
geopolitics. Al Jazeera, citing Broadcasting Corporation,
Let's check out
says
Market
according to
Watch.
sources, Israeli army examining whether the
Meta.
head of the Iranian
Let's
army
just go.
intelligence division was assassinated in Tehran.
That was another thing that I wanted to say was if the markets do bounce, don't forget about Netflix. Okay, Netflix has been really strong. All right, so and you were down at this support level here. Okay, I gotta stop saying okay. Previous highs up here at $96. Watch for that. If the market turns around, I wouldn't short this just yet. You do what you want. This is just my opinion. I don't think it's wise. It's just in a consolidating phase right now. It feels like just kind of putting in a nice bounce and okay, I thought it was above that level. All right, so you are back above that 100-day moving average on Netflix. So you have the 100-day moving average up there. But you have the trade line right below you. So unless you break down, what I would do is unless I wouldn't short this until it like you see rejections at 97.50 and then look to be a buyer at like 92, 92, 92.50. Let's go to Coinbase. Let's go look around. Let's go look around. Let's see, 15-minute chart. Boom. All right, figures. Figures Coinbase is failing.
A bit more from US President Trump. On the Supreme Leader, Trump says, I think he's damaged. This does allude to some earlier reports that had suggested that he might have been disfigured by some operations.
All right, watch the cues here. Okay, look at this.
Trump just reiterates he's probably alive in some
All
form.
right, Look at your anchored VWAP and everything's coming right in here. But notice the volume. Notice the volume that you have in here. That's not a good sign. It's low, ultimately low, but it's higher on the day unless something changes. Maybe we don't want to be long the SPY and we want to be long the Qs. Maybe that's a thought.
Again, folks, we do believe that these remarks from Trump are a bit of
Keep
a
an eye on
reiteration
oil.
of some of the earlier remarks that we made, but we're just
your,
putting them out there in case it has any follow through and people see it for the first time. Trump reiterates US is decimating Iran.
Man, everything is just in a range, man. I don't like that my computer's going slow. I feel like it's like really throwing me off. It is. Okay, look, here's another one, right? Just like I talked about with Meta and Walmart. Okay. Every time you've gotten here the past week and a half, 1, 2, 3, here it is, a fourth time. This is a buy zone. You have resistance up there at 405. Look how long I'm going to move my mouse. If you guys can see it, look how long it takes for it to go. Look. Look how long it took for it to catch up. That's also your 20-day moving average. All right, so this area, buy. It broke it, retested it. It didn't. It rejected it, right? It rejected it, but it still didn't just melt down until the following day. So you're back above it. Let's see if this holds. You know, this could be a nice little trade here on Microsoft if the market bounces. You know, again, if it doesn't work, that's okay. Why? Because you have Meta and Walmart that have already shown you that you can make a decent amount of money with this, type of playbook pattern, right? You just got to find your setups, right? I'm trying to give you guys setups and like ideas, right, as to a setup. Put it on. Your stops would be below 400. Views are still coming in here, and that's a break.
And again, these are
Kind of
reiteration of
break an
headlines from Trump
anchored
earlier
VWAP
on the
right
Jones
there.
Act suspension. We will take a look at it, and that is
Is
just confirming some of the
long
reporting that we got
Okay, so
yesterday.
you have a lot of your Verizon, your Dow names. So Dow is our leader. Dow is our leader. Microsoft is a big component of the Dow. So if the Dow is going to have relative strength and the Qs are not, because they're breaking down, um, then we may not want to be long tech, which that's okay. So the Dow is trying to pull back now. Okay. Still above prior day's low. Just broke prior day's high. Let's go look at the IWM. So it's a little bit closer into that prior day's low. SPY pretty much right in there at prior day's low. And the Qs are kind of where the Dow is, right? Prior day's low. You have a pivot low here, prior day's low. So I'd say the Qs are kind of matched with the IWM. But let me look at the Dow again. So they're all relatively close to one another, which is good. Okay, so the Dow is like sinking now. Now they're just giving it up. Now they're giving it up.
And just in these remarks from President Trump, he says that he's
Let's go
not
look at
focused at the
Bitcoin real
moment on
quick, guys.
getting
Bitcoin is
Iranian
still going.
uranium.
Let me pull up a higher time frame. I'd like to see a bounce in the 75,072. 75,072. 75,200. I'm sorry. 75,000. Yeah. They posted gay shit on TV. Let's see here. All right, so Bitcoin is coming into that prior high. Let's go look at the lower time frames on this and really see if we can get ourselves a trade here. See if it's
Just
going to offer us some
a
opportunity.
suffix there to the Trump remark,
So,
not
so
focused on
far, again,
operation to
another
take
green morning
Iranian
so
uranium,
far.
but at some point we might be.
So this is negative. That's negative. The hourly's trying to go negative. I want to see if oil breaks down here and helps us out a little bit. Come on, man. Break it down. Come on. Pull it in. All right, so here you go, right? You're pulling in the prior highs right off of this 20-day moving average. I wish I knew how to. Wish I could turn my computer and stuff off, and still not interrupt the stream. If anybody knows a way to do that, please let me know. Maybe I'll Google it real quick. Okay, so you have. Boom, boom. I think you see a pullback here on Bitcoin, or I should say, I wouldn't mind buying the pullbacks on Bitcoin if they can hold. Right, I would look to set my stops pretty tight on pullbacks on call it like, see, that's overdone. That's crazy. It's like every pattern you look at, you're like, oh, there might be a chance, and then you look deeper and you're like, oh, damn, it's kind of overdone. Like it's probably why there's low volume, because the algorithms already know this. They're already knowing all this, so you just have to find stocks that are moving, like Micron or something. And look at the volume stepping in up there to the sell side on Bitcoin. See what I mean? See this volume starting to step in up here. Big gap on that ADX, on your rising ADX. I mean, you're confirming new highs and stuff. It's just on a longer term time frame, you're struggling. So again, I'm not opposed to a long. I would like this chart to stop freaking out and going crazy. Number one, but number two, I wouldn't mind a pullback to like 73 and see if we can't do something here. The volume's drying up too. You're catching up to that previous high, and the volume is just falling off a cliff. It looks like it's picking up here, but if you pan out and look to the left, like a few days ago,
For service now, NOW, one of their executives speaking to CNBC, noting that active users are up more than 20% year over year, despite lower hiring.
okay, looks like the Qs are trying to hold there. That is a beautiful, nice break, retest. Are you going to be able to fill that gap? Are you going to fill Wednesday's gap? I'm curious. Man, I would love for some volume to come in here and really crack this Microsoft trade. I'd love to take a stab at it. I'm just not confident in it as much with, you know, not either one of the indexes being able to hold itself up here. I should still take it nonetheless, right? Because that's really what you're supposed to do. You see it, you put it on. You don't you don't come up with reasons other than you see it, you enter where you should, and you exit if it breaks and hits your stop, which would be you know breaking down below like 3.99. I'd give it $1 because you're going to make $1, right? You'd give it $1 to make 5. You should at least get the 405 prior day's high. So give it $1 to make 5, um, and that's really it. But it's just come on. What are you gonna do here? What are you gonna do here? The Israel army is examining whether the head of the Iranian army intelligence division was assassinated in Tehran, whatever it's called. Oh, is Blackstone is up a bit here. Hold up, guys. What's going on with Blackstone here? Hold up. Just a bit of a short squeeze, or I had to get out of this thing, man.
For the Mexican peso watchers, Banxico's deputy governor on the wires. Heath says he believes that the key rate cut should be put on hold in the next decision.
So why is this with Blackstone? I don't understand. There's no news this morning about it. Let me go see if I can find. Let's go look at Hims real quick. See what Hims is doing. We have Adobe Hims. So Hims is pulling back in. So Hims is about to put itself back in this like pressure cooker here where so it broke above the 50-day. It failed originally. Got back above it again, pulled in, tried to hold it and rally, and then it broke it. So it's not able
So,
to
folks, I
hold
just want to
itself.
highlight a Bloomberg piece that traders are passing around. It does say that back-channel talks with Iran to
Listen.
reopen the strait have begun but are unlikely to succeed. That's according to Bloomberg, citing sources. These mediation efforts, according to the Newswire, being led by Saudis, Oman and Turkey with support from European nations, including France. And apparently Qatar has stepped back after repeated attacks from Tehran.
I guess I'm gonna have to work on this thing this weekend with making sure everything's on the up and up. So far we've only had one losing trade. I think we're like 6 for 1 this week, something like that. 5 for 1 on trades. Again, I told you in the beginning, I'm gonna try to tell you guys why I'm taking a trade, what my thoughts are, if there's something I see as I'm in it, why I'm in it, where am I exiting, why am I exiting, all that good stuff. So if you guys make any money here trading with me, the least that I ask is hit the like button, subscribe. It goes a long way, and it really doesn't take much. It takes a whole hell of a lot less than it does to stream. And if you want to give back, you can always. There's links in the description. If you make money if I help you make any money, and you want to give some money back to the stream, that's awesome, right? I do right by you guys. You guys do right by me. It's just how the world works, and it's how it should work. So, AppLovin's up 2.9% here. TSM, Micron's just on a run here. All right, so look at these. I don't really want to be trading daily contracts. I'm not a big fan of them, but so we're still positive. Where's this 30 minute? 30 minutes trying to go positive here too. So, man, I just hate that we're back below this Friday low. Let's go look at the ES because these could really start to pay. Now you could really start to get your 100%, but I don't like that we're below this level. I wanted to hold on the SPY 670. I wanted to hold 6.7. Walmart's flat, AMAT. I mean, I'm fairly for the most part green in a lot of these names today.
And a bit more from the Bank's Co-Deputy Governor Heath. The next decision should factor in the complex
want to find
situation
stocks for
resulting
the
from the
long
conflict
term,
in the
but
Middle East, which raises risks to inflation.
what time is it? It's already getting late. It's 10:30. I gotta hurry up. I gotta look at Micron. That's probably the biggest name that's up today. Is Micron. Look, those contracts were at 70 some cents, 80 cents. They're back at $1. They're back at $1. Look at the SPY holding the 200-day moving average. That's big, you guys. That is big. Man,
And the
I
Atlanta
hate
Fed
to be
GDP
that
now
guy,
tracking
but
estimate for Q1 has been lifted
will we get
to
another little pullback?
2.7% from 2.1 prior after today's data. So that's Atlanta Fed GDP now
That
tracking
volume
growth in
bounce on
Q1
those is
of
not ideal.
2.7% from
There's
2.1.
no volume
Reminder that
bounce
GDP
back
data we got a
bubble
bit earlier today was for
prior
Q4.
to
A
these
second look.
I don't like that. That would be the first thing I'd think of if I had a position on is, oh shit, this bounce is not solidifying, what I want to see. Doesn't have any strength behind it.
And just a correction, that Atlanta Fed GDP now tracking estimate 2.7% is correct. Yesterday it was updated to 2.7, so that will be unchanged after today's data.
I didn't get that. Is there a wrong date? Oh, it's the Atlanta Fed GDP now. Okay. 2.7. Previously 2.7. Okay, Q1 2.7. All right. So if we're forecasting, so even with the government, at a standstill, partly shut down, they're still expecting positive GDP. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And more from the US
Crazy.
president.
Look how
He
long
says
it
that the
takes for this
Iranian
thing to
regime will
bounce
fall,
around. Like,
but
it's just
maybe not
wild, bro.
immediately.
I messed myself up by updating my computer, I can tell. I should have never updated it. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is. Okay. So, Datadog Snow. Let me actually, you know what I'm missing here? That's what I'm missing. All right, Micron right back up in there into that resistance zone. It is going positive. Let's see why. So, why is this? Is there a reason why? Micron jumped 5%. The stock received a flurry of supportive commentary from analysts ahead of chipmakers' physical second quarter earnings on March 18th. Fellow memory chip and storage device makers Western Digital, Seagate, and SanDisk were also leading the S&Ps, rising 6%. I should have bought that dip again at on SanDisk when we had the chance. There at that low 5-6 level on SNDK. Okay, so hourly chart. You have some resistance up here. Yeah, you're getting ready to come into this. This is more than likely going to be support at prior day's high. I'd keep an eye on this. I'd keep an eye on this 410 level. Just be careful because if you get up there, you're kind of putting yourself in some resistance. So you still have about 14 points, 15, 16 points. Honestly, that's if you get the entry here at not prior day's high, but Wednesday's high. If you can get a 420 entry, it has room to 440. The resistance is up there, like prior highs 436, 435. I'd say 433. I'd say 434, 436. So you're going to give yourself about a, you know, $14, $16 move, potentially $20 more to the upside there. So maybe I'll put an alert. That's overdone there on that. It's way overdone on a 30 time frame. See, these things have been going for days. That's overdone there too. Damn. This might just be a short up here. Sorry, I don't mean to say it, but the 4 hour is like the last thing that's, this is what it takes to kind of, for me at least, to be able to put on a position is like to go through everything. So that's a new high, right? Non-confirming new high. I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't tired. I woke up at about 4:30 this morning, and I was up about 5 doing going over pre-market stuff, and I've been here already for what is that, 4 or 5 hours already. So getting a little bit hungry. Man, that's crazy. You do not have volume coming in on the Qs up at this area. Look at that. Look, you pulled right into this zone. Look at the volume. It just gave up on you. It's not cool. Nobody likes that. All right, I'm going to get rid of that because I guess the guy's not talking. Again, if you guys are new here, welcome. If you could hit the like button, subscribe. If you guys make any money with us, you guys can give back. If you guys have tickers, throw them in the chat. Let's talk about, what are you guys looking at? Is there anything you guys are looking to buy? Where do you guys think the markets are going to close today? Any idea? Any thoughts? What stock are you liking right now that you think is good for 2026? Like, I would love to know. I would love to know.
I'm
Look at Snowflake up here. If you get another shot, this might be a nice little short opportunity. I mean, it's kind of did it one too many times, but 185, 184. ADP's been running all morning. All morning. Damn, this thing is down bad. This thing's down bad. Holy shit. Let's go check out Adobe ADBE. I want to grab something to eat, you guys. I'm trying to be patient and wait. It's 10:40. All right, so there you go. That these previous lows here, Adobe looks like it's struggling. USO is on the high ticker, guys. Damn it. Again, forgive me. I am tired. I've been up since 4:30. And just sitting here, I feel like I could take a nap. Maybe I should just do some push-ups. That would help. Bro, what? Yeah, energy is trying to rise again, guys. Trying to take off again. just frustrating. All right, guys, I will be right back. Look at CCJ. I wonder what's going on here with CCJ. You can't see it. Look at this move it's had off the bell. Look at this beautiful level right here. Pink, bouncing back, right off that 100-day moving average. Now you're bouncing into prior day's low. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab something to eat real quick. See if I can find something small. I haven't been to the store yet, so don't have much.
And folks, so just more on the Iran front. Italy Foreign Ministry has denied the earlier FT report over negotiations with Iran to reopen Hormuz Strait to Italian vessels.
So I'm trying to just give it like another hour before I make lunch. So I'm just gonna snack on a few things. All right, let's just try and find something, man. I'm just discouraged because my computer is just acting so slow, and it's just really just pissing me off, man. Because it shouldn't take 20 minutes for each ticker to pop up. Um, I'm gonna go run through some charts. So if you're new here and you guys, if you guys want me to go over any tickers or anything that you guys want to check out, go ahead and post it in the chat below. Let's do this. Let's go check out the 30-year. I'm gonna look at it over here, and then I'll pull up TLT. So there you go. There you go. The Q's just broke prior day's low. Again, you have oil continuing to rise here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I'm gonna play this. Hopefully, I don't get copywritten. Um, shouldn't.
Micron, I know that Micron and SNDK, I got to keep a close eye
We're
on
not
these
really
ones. Let's
talking
just
about
go to a
anything in
30-minute chart,
particular.
get that VWAP out of the way. We don't need that. Wow, look at that strength on Micron off of the open. Absolutely crazy, but nice little pullback happening as of right now on the Micron. SNDK probably.
Oh, Micron. Okay, Mykonos. This is a guy from Greece or something over here?
SNDK. We'll see what this one's up to. See, not the same kind of strength on SNDK, kind of muted. And yesterday we kind of observed the bit of a disconnect there between some of those stocks, SNDK and Micron, which were moving in tandem at one point. So is the trade over? That's what I'm asking. I have no idea. I'm just waiting for, you know, my SSDs and my RAM to come back down in prices, which I don't think it's happening anytime.
You know what I'm asking? I'm asking for this market to go down as well, right there, because, okay, man, we switched up the game, and you got to make sure you do something like that. I mean, you can't just sit there and, you know, watch. I mean, you can sit there and watch the market. I mean, that's a choice. But we did break down there. You know, we're going short now onto the NASDAQ, and we're not holding this for a very long time. Like I'd mentioned there, if we break back above 20s here, we can get out, but we're short there. We did lose on that last long, and once it broke 47, I was just thinking, like, this market broke VWAP, we're downside, we're starting to go this way. NVIDIA broke as well. So our last couple longs didn't work. And I'm not short because these didn't work. It's just, it's the momentum now to the downside. Just want to see if it winds up printing for us a little bit here. We can make a little bit of money back that we lost on those longs. But ideally, this market has more to go. There is a lot more downside that we could experience. The S&P 500 just turned red, as did NASDAQ. And you could see here, that's 4680 right there. That, you know, that could come into play. And then you're talking about the open from a couple days ago that we could get into here. And you know, yesterday, the market seemed okay. And the next thing you know, man, the Dow was down 800 points. So maybe this market does, you know, bleed down to the downside. How could she slap, Obi? Because right there, the market goes, how could she slap? Because the market's going to the downside right now, and we're making back a little bit more money on this trade. Okay, we like this one. Let's see how low can we go. It seems like we're doing, what do they call, the limbo there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you go on that, I mean, I'm trying to go on vacation, you know, we'll get a little low down there.
With the roller skates?
I ain't about that roller skating limbo life, but I'm about skating on fine ice here with the NASDAQ and the TQQs. It's almost about that time for what's for lunch, but we've gone over our limit here. We got to get a Dara with money talks. Then we'll figure out what's for lunch. Then we'll go to the gym. We'll come back and we'll have a great afternoon, and we'll pass it over to the midday guys. They're pumped up and ready to go as well. What up, Adara?
You don't know what's up, Sean? The US dollar. DXY breaking a new high of 2026. That's going to be this 101.299 level, currently trading around 101.123. So we pulled back slightly here, but still very much up, not only on the day, but on the week. This is a 4-day winning streak for the US dollar, actually poised for a second straight green week. And we're trying to take off these highs from November of 2025. Let's see if the US dollar can pull it off, but all in all, nice trajectory higher for that DXY. Now, tons of economic data to go over, so I have not one but two handy little Trader TV research infographics for you guys to look at here. So we had PCE, core and non-core, all of these numbers with the exception of PCE year over year for January, which came.
I thought I turned the mic off. They're not talking about anything, so I'm going to turn that off. So I had the UUP January 21st, 2028 28 call. And they're, oh wait, that's 90 cents to 170. What? Yeah, you're pretty much damn near there at $28. But bid ask is $1.70 on the ask and 90 cents on the bid. So that's why I don't like going out too long, because there's no volume. That's one thing I've hated about the market recently is the volume. You know, once you go out more than like a month, 2-3 months, it's just like, it's awful.
matter of months are going completely unpaid. We're asking these workers to do something that none of us do, that no member of Congress does. We're asking them to go to work based on an IOU. And if you think they're not thinking about their rent, their gas, their need for groceries, the other things they have to do for their kids while they're trying to do their job, then we're kidding ourselves. This will have an effect on the aviation system. It is having an effect on the aviation system, and it's a man-made disaster. It doesn't need to be this way. The fault lies with Congress. For travelers, it's leading to incredible uncertainty. I saw the lines in Austin, Texas earlier today, 3 hour long lines down there. I went through San Diego yesterday and I got through in 10 minutes. What that means is travelers don't know, do I need to arrive at the airport an hour ahead of time? Do I need to arrive 5 hours ahead of time? It creates massive uncertainty. It harms the system. It encourages people, it discourages some people from traveling, which will have a significant impact on the economy. During the last shutdown, we saw travel
These are
spending
actually
decline
banging.
by about $1 billion per week.
When I'm in the airport and when I go and zoom by everything, that's just like, I feel like my day is made and I'm a superhero. So then if we see more travel disruptions, how could that impact the broader economy, especially if the conflict drags on? Do you see it affecting maybe the airline costs and ticket prices? And I mean, how will that ripple through?
Yeah, if travelers, and let's look at it, there are different types of travelers. There are leisure
Fair.
travelers who are going out for spring break. There are business travelers who are going on their third, fourth, sixth trip of the month. I think the leisure traveler is generally more resilient. If I promise my kids that we're going somewhere warm for spring break, I'm going to be irritated, but I'm going to tolerate that unnecessarily long
Watch this
line at
low right
TSA.
here on
For
the
the
sky.
frequent business traveler, frankly, the people who are spending more, often sitting in the front of the plane, spending more at the hotel,
If it
spending more.
doesn't, if it, if USO or forward slash, if crude, Western starts to continue to rise, then it won't matter. I may end up getting out of here, guys, and calling it a day. As much as I'd like to stay, I'd rather listen to music and do, there's just not many people here, you know. Oh, look at the IWM. Look at the setup on Eli Lilly. Massive support up here. You broke it. You're bounced into it this morning, and it rejected it again. All right, guys. I guess that's gonna be it for me today. I'll post on Twitter if I do anything else today. Um, any like trades or anything I get into, I just don't think there's much going on here. guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you on Monday. Peace.